Hi, this is Mick Elliott from Electronic Specifier, and I am on the Eseye stand at Embedded World with Paul Marshall, who is the Chief Customer Officer for Eseye. Paul, before we move on to the products and what Eseye takes to the market, can you just give us a bit of background on the company, please?
Thank you. Yes, so we started Eseye 17 years ago when we identified that people were looking for connecting devices back to, well, it wasn't the cloud in those days, it was servers, but back to the cloud for cloud applications to add value. And what we saw then was that although the cost of modules was quite high in those days and the cost of data connectivity compared to today was very expensive, actually we knew that was going to be able to come down, and we knew that people were looking for global ways of connecting devices back to the enterprise.
And this is a group of colleagues got together to found the company?
Yes, so there was a couple of us started the company and we've grown from strength to strength.
Where's the company based?
So we're headquartered in Guildford, just south of London.
And how many people in the company? And
there's about 130, 140 of us now.
Okay, and that's a mix of obviously sales, marketing and development. You have an engineering department there as well?
Yes, so we have a number of different engineering departments, I suppose, that concentrate on different areas of Internet of Things. So we have a hardware development department, and that's really important for our customers that buy connectivity, because actually they can work with engineers who are experiencing the pains and the joys of actually building real IoT devices. We've got the technical consultants that work with customers, so they actually dive into customers' devices to say, how can we make your device so that it works more reliably? And of course, reliably. And that, of course, is what makes the device become a business success, having technically. And then, of course, we've got the operations department that actually keep the network running. So we've got 15 data centers around the world connected into more than 20 network operators. And the reason for the operations department is to make sure those connections are all working reliably all the time and build in new data centers and expand the network. And of course, finally, I suppose I shouldn't forget, we've also got a SIM development team. And one of the things that's really important, although it's not just about the SIM card, having a SIM card that meets all the latest standards and has the features in that needed for IoT projects is really important. So the team there are constantly working on the standards, the specifications of those SIM cards, and making sure that they deliver added value and added features that IoT applications actually need.
And do you have a broad range of customers across lots of applications and markets?
We do, yes. I mean, I suppose that's what makes my job really exciting, is I get to work with a whole range of customers who are looking at projects which are going global, looking for really reliable connectivity. And the thing that makes that exciting, I suppose, is because they're coming from different walks of life, whether it's healthcare or new business models, delivering water, monitoring services, monitoring systems, putting it together and making sure that each one's got a real business value. And I suppose that takes us back to the roots as well, which is when we were looking at it 17 years ago, then the costs were very high. The business value had to be extraordinary to make that really valuable. As those costs of the modules have come down, as the radio access technologies have improved, now we've got Cat-M1, very cheap modules, NB-IoT for very low power, all of a sudden business cases which 17 years ago would have seemed laughable, maybe even 5 years ago would have seemed laughable. Now, all of a sudden, they really become valuable and useful. And I suppose that's what makes it exciting to look at all those new industries. And customers come up with such innovative ideas. It's just fantastic.
Now, we're standing here and it's 80% of IoT projects fail. So tell us how Eseye will ensure that doesn't happen to your customers.
That's a really interesting statistic, and it isn't us that made it up. We actually got that from a research organisation.
Right.
But what is interesting is why IoT projects fail. And actually it can be anything from a technical failure where it's maybe just not been designed well enough, or a business failure where somebody's not actually realised what value the IoT project will bring to them. And if they're not getting the value from that IoT project, eventually it's going to fail. The other thing that really frightens me, I suppose, is where people are putting in IoT projects and they've not got enough risk mitigation in there. So for example, the SIM cards that we supply, they're multi-IMSI EUICC SIM cards. This means they're fully GSMA compliant, but it means that in the future, when the networks change what they're doing, and when other things change, legislation changes, we have the ability to make sure those cards can deliver compliant connectivity around the world. Now, projects that I think are the ones that are frightening is if somebody has put in something which maybe can't have those facilities in the future, they might find that a legislation change in the future suddenly means that project fails, and that's frightening.
And just give us some idea of products you've brought to the market recently and what they bring to the customers and how you're keeping up with the technology, because IoT is moving on all the time.
So I suppose the most exciting thing we've got really is a project we call Smart Connect. And what we've done with Smart Connect is we've taken the intellectual property and the understanding that our hardware and software development team have worked on when they've worked on different projects with customers. And we've wrapped that up to say, how do you get a device that connects reliably and stays connected? And we've taken the state machines that we've developed there, the recovery mechanisms, and of course working with our connectivity teams that actually understand how the networks work and how the SIM card is going to make available the authentication for devices to connect. Actually wrapping that up as a product, so Smart Connect allows devices to get connected, stay connected, they can report back how well they're doing using lightweight M2M, for example, to the servers, and so people can get statistics on those. So people can now much more easily make a project which will connect and stay connected. And of course, the way of delivering that, which I think is particularly exciting, is inside many of the IoT, the cellular modules you can get nowadays, there is capacity to load extra software. So our Smart Connect software has been wrapped up so that we can load it into the module. By loading the Smart Connect software into the module, we can enable customers on their existing circuit boards with minimal changes, no need to make changes to their firmware, significant changes to their firmware, all of a sudden their devices can connect more reliably. And that's really exciting to see, because again, you were talking about the 20% that succeed. One of the reasons that projects fail is if they can't get high enough connectivity statistics. And by getting those so they can connect more reliably, actually that moves those into the 20% bracket. Again, another exciting thing that we got.
And just to sum up, that obviously therefore heralds a nice, optimistic, positive future for Eseye.
I think so, yes. I mean, there's lots of exciting things going on, lots of exciting projects, and this week we've met lots of customers who have some really innovative and exciting ideas, and it's going to be great to see some of those start to come to fruition.
Paul Marshall from Eseye, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.